You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, residents in Missouri will be voting whether daycares should be tax exempt. Very own Melissa Alexis shares thoughts from area residents.
Plus, Parsons police investigate a shooting that led to the death of one man.
And we've got a chilly by July standards start to the day out there. We'll talk about that forecast, get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Snowe.
I'm Chris Warner, just after 7 o'clock on this finally Friday in the 4 states. So something we've been talking about through the morning is this big internet outage or IT outage affecting a number of things globally.
Across the world, yes.
Across the world. So if you're waking up this morning having some difficulty maybe getting into email, it's a Microsoft issue with a third-party vendor for them. It's not a cyber attack or anything, but it has grounded flights globally for American Airlines, Delta, and United. And we mentioned earlier this morning too, WLEX in Lexington, Kentucky posted this morning they were unable to do their morning show because it's impacting just a wide array of technology.
Airlines, banks, media outlets, and we'll have more about that later on.
We certainly will. And thankfully not impacting us, and we've got a lot of stuff to tell you about today.
Absolutely. Well, there's a need for more child care facilities in the state of Missouri.
KOAM's Melissa Alexis has more on how this is affecting families in Joplin.
With 4 and 5-year-olds, which is my class.
On August 6th, Missouri voters will decide on a constitutional amendment that would exempt child care facilities from paying property taxes. Diane Dillon is a lead teacher at Little Cub Academy in Joplin. She says that she hopes this will create more child care facilities and help minimize the care shortage.
There is a child care desert in Missouri, and there's a huge need for infant child care. It's greatly lacking. Affordable is also an issue because child care is expensive.
Kimberly Madajek is a mother of 3. She says finding a daycare for her 9-month-old is extremely difficult.
We're actually on 2 different waiting lists trying to see if we can even get him in anywhere. And in a family, at least with this economy right now, we are having to, both parents have to work, at least in our family household.
She says that the child care shortage put her and her husband in a predicament where they had to adjust their work schedules to be home.
I had to make considerations in my job. Thank goodness they were able to work with me, but I know all families aren't like that the job might not be able to make that exception.
She hopes that a tax exemption would benefit the children by allowing the facilities to have more money left over to upgrade their facilities.
Anything that gives them money to be able to put towards our children or put towards their facilities or their workers would be beneficial for us, because that's what we want for our kids. We want them to have the newer things and be able to actually interact and talk with all of those teachers.
Madachek says that she hopes the property tax exemption leads to more affordable childcare for other parents. Reporting in Joplin, Melissa Alexis, KOAM News.
Now, the property tax break could also cost money, according to the state of Missouri. The state's blind pension fund could lose up to $400,000 each year.
There's always 2 sides to every coin, and that's going to be the case in this situation. It's a helpful thing in one area, could be hurtful in other areas, and it's just one of those things too where that's why we have our lawmakers. Their job is to maybe find a way to balance that so it doesn't have that negative
And it's up to the voters too.
Absolutely. That'll depend. If you guys vote yes, they'll need to find a way to balance it. If not, then we go on. Well, we're going to go on too with our forecast today, and it's a chilly start again by July standards out there. Let's start with a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. Got a light easterly breeze, and otherwise this morning clear skies across the area. Another great view of those blue skies from our camera at 7th and Range Line, and we're looking pretty good from the MoDOT camera down at 20th and Range Line. Looking back to the north, traffic of course is moving. And that's always a good thing when traffic is in motion. You don't want to wake up and find out that it's going to take you an extra hour to get to work. Future track heading into the afternoon and evening hours, not much to show other than a few stray clouds and again that light easterly breeze across the area. And our temperatures this morning well below normal. We're supposed to be about 70 for our overnight lows, and most of us are in the mid to upper 50s with some low 60s sprinkled in around the area as well. So again, for July, this is a pretty cool start to the day. Not that we're complaining. We've needed a break from the oppressive heat, and this is certainly a big break. We're going to hold on to below normal normal temperatures for the next few days, including today. Our highs going back into the low to mid 80s. Some of our eastern counties may only make the upper 70s out there, so another great day. Our below normal temperatures continue, though, thanks to some rain chances moving in this weekend. We'll take a look at those details in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, thanks, Chris. As we discussed earlier, a developing story as a major Microsoft outage is affecting users across the globe, leading to flight disruptions this morning. The FAA says American Airlines, Delta, and United Airlines have issued ground stops. The airlines citing communication issues as the reason. The website Down Detector, which follows user-reported service disruption, also shows outages are being reported at ADT Security, Amazon, and Visa. Some Microsoft users in Australia are also having trouble accessing computing systems. They include banks and telecommunication providers. This comes less than an hour after Microsoft announced it resolved its cloud services outage that impacted several low-cost airlines late Thursday that led to several flights being grounded or canceled. Authorities in Joplin respond to a crash in downtown Joplin. The two-vehicle crash happened just before 2:15 yesterday afternoon at 2nd and Jackson. Joplin police say a southbound vehicle failed to yield to a westbound vehicle, resulting in the crash. Authorities say one person involved was not responsive and was rushed to an area hospital. JPD confirmed the person died a short time later. The names are being withheld pending next of kin. Police in Parsons, Kansas arrest a man for fatally shooting another man. It happened around 11 p.m. Wednesday night on the 2300 block of Appleton Street. Police say they arrived to find a man, Taylor Abshir, lying in the street with a gunshot wound. Officers heard a voice tell them to check on the man because the speaker had shot him. The voice came from Michael Morales, who was hiding behind a tree with a gun in hand. As officers tried to arrest Morales, he tried running but was quickly stopped, and police then found another victim, Maurice Harper, inside a home. First responders took both victims to a hospital, and Abshir is receiving care for his injuries, but Harper died from his. Official charges against Morales are still pending. The Northeast Tech Afton campus served as launch pad for a collaboration with Tango Flight. Students enrolled in the STEM program got to earn their wings through building an aircraft meeting FAA standards. The project will expose students to an array of STEM principles, including engineering, aerodynamics, and electronics, as well as provide them with practical skills and insights into the aviation industry.
So the students are super excited about this. We've been telling them for about the past 6 months what's coming for this year. And as we went to recruit, we've actually seen a huge increase in our numbers of students who have applied this year. So I think this is something that really not only fills a need in the job market, but it's really resonating with students.
A representative from Tango Flight will pilot the completed aircraft, showcasing the students' achievement and dedication to excellence in May of 2026. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, Donald Trump has officially accepted the Republican nomination. We'll hear from him as he shares his thoughts from last week's assassination attempt. We'll be right back, but before we head to break, here's a live look from the McDonald County Fair in Anderson, Missouri. Topping Nation Watch this morning. As of Thursday, over 3 million acres have been burned in the U.S. by wildfires. And with extreme heat to continue in some parts of the country, there is a high potential for more large wildfires to emerge. The National Interagency Fire Center has increased its preparedness to its highest level, PL5. This greenlights a larger scale operation for wildfire control, like hotshot crews, air tankers, smoke jumpers, and communications equipment. Well, many fans are mourning the death of actor and comedian Bob Newhart. Newhart's publicist says the actor died yesterday in Los Angeles after a series of short illnesses. He is most remembered as the star of two hit television sitcoms of the 1970s and the 1980s that carried his name, The Bob Newhart Show and Newhart. He was the recipient of numerous awards over his decades-long career, including multiple Grammys, an Emmy, a Golden Globe, and a Peabody Award. Bob Newhart was 94 years old. Well, the most anticipated moment of the Republican National Convention happened last night as former President Trump formally accepted his party's nomination just days after surviving an assassination attempt. Fox News correspondent Rebecca Castor reports from the convention center.
Less than a week after being shot at his rally, former President Trump officially accepts the GOP nomination. The grand finale of the RNC, a highly anticipated speech from former President Donald Trump, one he rewrote after nearly losing his life on Saturday.
I'm not supposed to be here tonight. I stand before you in this arena only by the grace of Almighty God.
Trump started the speech by sharing his perspective of that scary moment.
When I rose surrounded by Secret Service, the crowd was confused because they thought I was dead. I wanted to do something to let them know I was okay. I raised my right arm, looked at the thousands and thousands of people that were breathlessly waiting, and started shouting, "Fight, fight, fight."
He also asked for a moment of silence to honor Corey Comparator, the former fire chief who was killed while shielding his wife and daughter from gunfire at the rally. His helmet and jacket on stage with the former president.
There is no greater love than to lay down one's life for others.
Trump's speech struck a different chord tonight. He laid out his vision for the country and he focused on unity.
In an age when our politics too often divide us, now is the time to remember that we are all fellow citizens.
With a successful convention in the books, the Republican Party looks more united than ever. But you can't say the same about the Democrats. Speculation is growing that President Biden could soon drop out of the race as more lawmakers call on him to do so. In Milwaukee, Rebecca Castor, Fox News.
And those are some of our top national stories. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Yeah, we've got a chilly start to the day for July, at least out there. Middle of July, temperatures into the upper 50s across most of the area. We're going to hold on to below normal temperatures for the next several days and see some increasing rain chances. We're going to break down those details here in just a moment. And coming up a little later, a volunteer program is helping students stay on track in school. We'll hear how one group of men is stepping up. Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:17 on this Friday morning here in the 4 states. And we're starting with this, a live look from our camera on the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. We've got nothing but clear skies out there. And as we look from our camera, 7th and range line, just another great view of this beautiful start to the day. And for July, if you haven't stepped outside yet, you might think that you went to sleep in July and woke up in October, because it is pretty chilly out there for this time of year. MoDOT camera 20th and range line looking pretty good. And as we look at the future track, well, we've got nothing to really show you today other than a few passing clouds and a light easterly breeze. And that'll continue to be the case as we go overnight and into the early morning hours on Saturday. Then clouds will begin to increase. We'll start to go mostly cloudy. Future track painting the opportunity for a stray shower or two. I think most of us will be dry through the majority of Saturday, and it'll be late Saturday after about 9 o'clock that we'll start to see increasing chances for showers and thunderstorms out there. In Joplin right now, 62. Temperature slowly coming up. The wind is calm out there. Dew point is lower at 58. Humidity 86%. So again, it feels pretty good. And take a look at these temperatures. Still a number of upper 50s across the area, but we are starting to see a few more low to mid 60s as the sun gets higher in the sky. Of course, we'll continue to warm, but we will still be below average as we go through our Friday. Sunny skies to start. Again, we get that cool start out there. Keep in mind, this is about our average low is 70, and we'll make it to about 76 by 11 o'clock this morning. Our average high this time of year is right around 91. We're not going to be at that point again today. We're low to mid 80s. Some of us a couple of degrees cooler than yesterday. You don't really notice it that much, but we'll be a little cooler in some spots, and our eastern counties may not make it out of the upper 70s in some locations. We'll go clear through the evening. Again, maybe a passing cloud or two, and that'll be the same as we go into the overnight hours. And another cool one out there as well as we fall back once again right around the low to mid 60s across the area, and some upper 50s will still be possible. Now, as we head into the weekend, again, after about 9 on Saturday, we'll start to see scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. So we got a low pressure system that's going to kind of just linger around for a few days and eventually start to exit. But it will bring us some much needed rain. Now, the good news is nothing on the long range data is screaming severe, which is good. We're not looking at any severe threat as we head into this. We'll keep an eye on it, but we're just looking at general thunderstorms and some much needed rainfall. Also remember, on the future track, this green is not just a huge rain shield of all-day rain. It's where the thunderstorm chances are going to be best. The darker color, the better the chances. But we'll have scattered thunderstorm chances throughout the day Sunday and into the most of our Monday, because there's that low still just kind of hovering right over us, and it'll continue into Monday evening. Now, it will eventually begin to shift a little to the east, and as we get into Tuesday, we're going to get on the backside of it. It starts to lose some of that moisture, and so our shower and thunderstorm chances will begin to decrease as we go Tuesday night into very early Wednesday, and by the time we get into most of our Wednesday, partly cloudy skies and warmer. So below normal highs and lows all the way through at least Tuesday, low to mid 80s and into the 60s overnight. We go about average Wednesday and Thursday, a little above average on Friday, and we'll cool down just a wee bit heading into next weekend ahead of another round of scattered showers and thunderstorms. That's a check of your forecast. We're back with more right after this. Dads in Schools is a volunteer program meant to give students guidance and protection while at school, and they're happy to report one of their latest success stories.
Fox's Kim Pathsoth shares how this interaction is having an impact on students.
The students, the staff, the teachers all feel safer.
Dads in Schools volunteers have been on CCSD campuses for 3 years now.
The day that we piloted the program at a local elementary school was the same day that the Uvalde, Texas tragedy struck, and we saw, many children lose their lives.
Dads in Schools helps to keep an eye on things. They are father figures on campus, making sure fights don't break out. Their motto, prevention through presence. Something that is desperately needed.
Post-COVID, there was an extreme jump in violence.
Founder Troy Martinez says when Dads in Schools are on campus, violence has decreased and attendance increased. And for some students, made all the difference.
Definitely gave me another chance in life.
Alejandro Ortiz, who will now be an 11th grader at Las Vegas High School, got into trouble for getting into a fight.
The local captain saw Alejandro, knew he was a pretty good guy, pretty good kid, and really needed a break, and basically called Pastor Troy.
Before Dads in Schools, I wasn't really too focused on school. I was more focused on being a teenager and living life. It's helped me stay on a path. It's helped me think about my future and what I want to do.
Mentorship has made all the difference. Alejandro now wants to go to college and study business, even getting a $500 check from the United States Law Enforcement Foundation to grow his new t-shirt design business.
Just being bored in my room, making designs on my computer, I decided to just put them on t-shirts, and so that's where I started.
He's a success story. It's not a whole lot of money, but to him, I think it's probably going to be worth a lot.
Certainly an impressive program.
Yes, great to see them taking that initiative and serving as mentors to people who need it.
Yeah, and providing just that extra oomph on campus too to deter other situations.
Can really make a difference. Well, coming up, a drone strike claims the life of one person as a ceasefire agreement is getting closer between Israel and Hamas. We'll have the details.
And as we've mentioned, we've got a chilly, by July standards, start to the day out there. A little bit on the cool side, temperature staying below normal. Rain chances this weekend. We'll have a look at your forecast when we come back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on to Fox 14. It's just coming up on 7:29. I'm Elise Snowy. The Miami Public Library yesterday dove into the world of magic. They hosted a performance from local magician Kevin Wade. The hour-long magic show was free to the public and available for the whole family. Kevin Wade is based out of Miami but performs at venues throughout the area.
He is a staple in our community. We're going to have him back for Heritage Fest this Saturday the 27th in the Kidsville area. We're going to have him back in the fall because the kids just absolutely love the show that he puts on. And he's always doing something new and different.
certainly a fun event. Well, a group of caregivers meet up once a month at Oak Point Retirement Home in Neosho, Missouri to share their burdens. The wellness director there says the biggest support can come from people who are in the same situation.
I think that just having other people that are in the same situation as them and trying to navigate through what dementia means, it is amazing. I've watched them walk out of here. They still visit. It's pretty amazing.
The support group meets on the third Thursday every month. The Woodson County Fair is in full swing this week with livestock shows, 4-H food sales, and fun for the whole family. Yesterday, young exhibitors weighed in their animals, preparing to show them off.
Mainly getting to hang out with my friends and just paying off all my hard work throughout the year.
At the fair, I like to just hang out with friends and look at everybody else's projects. It's kind of when you get to see where everyone's hard work really pays off.
The fair continues throughout the weekend with more exhibits, contests, a watermelon feed, and much more. Now let's check in with Chris for a look at the forecast.
Yeah, we've got a pretty decent day out there. Great start to the day as well. We're well below average this morning. We've got clear skies from our camera at 7th and Rangeline, and looking great from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Rangeline in Joplin as well. And as we look at the future track, just heading in this afternoon and this evening, other than a few passing clouds here or there and a light easterly breeze, there's really not much to show us as we head through the rest of the evening across the area. As we look at temperatures out there, again, very cool start to the day, especially for mid-July. Upper 50s in some locations, getting into those low 60s now. We had a lot of upper 50s earlier this morning. Of course, the sun's coming up. We're warming up a bit, but still well below normal. We should be about 70 for our overnight lows. We'll reach about 70 by 9. A few passing clouds as we head through the afternoon. Again, a light easterly breeze. Temperatures once again below normal. Average high is 91. We're going to go low to mid 80s, and some of our eastern counties may only make the upper 70s today. Now, we have some rain chances increasing as we head into the weekend. That's also going to play a role in keeping our temperatures below normal for the next several days. Unfortunately, we will start to return to normal as we head into next week. We'll break down all the details on that in the full forecast here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
All right, we'll see you soon, Chris. Thanks. One person is dead and at least 10 others are injured after a blast rocked the Israeli city of Tel Aviv. Yemen's Houthi rebels are claiming responsibility for the drone strike. This comes as talks that could result in a ceasefire agreement in the Israel-Hamas war press on, even in the midst of ramped up calls for Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu to broker a deal to free the more than 100 hostages still being held in Gaza. Fox News' Ted Lindner reports.
Just woke up to a blast, like a shattering blast.
Israeli emergency response teams in Tel Aviv rushing to the scene of what appears to have been a drone or car bomb attack early Friday morning. The explosion taking place about 1 block away from a U.S. Embassy branch office.
Deep insecurity in the future, whatever is happening, what our government is doing to secure us.
Prior to the blast, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu made a surprise visit to troops in southern Gaza Thursday.
The military pressure they are exerting right here at Hamas's throat helps us.
But as Netanyahu says, escalating IDF strikes across Gaza are key to eliminating Hamas. A team of Israeli negotiators in Egypt are trying to advance ceasefire talks.
Israel's defense minister, Yoav Gallant, had told his U.S. counterpart that the fighting in Gaza had made the conditions ripe for a deal.
This comes as former Hamas hostages, whose loved ones are still captive in Gaza, are urging Netanyahu not to embark on his upcoming trip to the U.S. next week, and instead focus on reaching a hostage deal with Hamas.
How will I be able to continue like this if you don't sign your deal now and bring Ohad back to me? If the deal doesn't happen this time, does it mean I need to start forgetting about him? I ask you, I demand of you, first a deal, then a trip.
Netanyahu is expected to address Congress in Washington on July 24th. President Joe Biden is recovering from COVID-19, but officials expect him to be able to meet with the prime minister. Ted Lindner, Fox News.
And that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. Shannon Becker is with us in studio this morning to share his big 3 news stories of the week. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from the McDonald County Fairgrounds in Anderson, Missouri. Welcome back. We've got Shannon Becker in the studio with his big 3 news stories of the week. Good morning to you, Shannon. How are you doing?
Good morning. I'm well, Elise. You?
Well, as well. Thank you.
All right. Let's take a look at the big 3 stories this week live at Local. What's happening where you live. Yesterday afternoon, a fatal crash just off downtown Joplin, almost like right in the heart of Joplin at 2nd and Jackson. Tragically, the driver that was T-boned in this crash died, Captain William Davis tells us. Also, investigation says that driver who died failed to yield at a stop sign. He was traveling south on Jackson Street and was struck by a westbound car. We'll have more information on that, we anticipate, from the Joplin Police Department later on today. Our number 2 story, another tragedy averted, I guess you could say. A driver did not die in this crash, which is just shocking. It happened early this last Sunday morning. Traffic was stopped for about 3 hours. That is a pickup truck. It struck a rock wall and then continued to roll down the interstate. The teenage driver, male, is still recovering, we understand, from Joplin police officers. We'll have more on that if you take a look at the web. Exclusive images and video, KOAM News Now. That happened at I-44 Main Street exit. And then our number 1 story. Now, this is something that doesn't happen every day.
Right.
Within 8 days, there's my turtle friend there. Someone's like, oh, he looks like he's sad. No, he was coming to eat me. It doesn't happen every day. We're talking like waters 5 feet deep in some areas of Joplin Creek. Now, that had receded super quick. Even it was last Friday morning was one of the 3
incredible.
mornings.
Look at that.
Yeah,
Look at that flow.
And somebody's like, oh, it always floods. Well, we will not see flooding like this probably for another year or 2. And it will happen once, not 3 times in 8 days. It started, like a week ago Monday, it'll be 2 weeks ago. No one's been injured in all of this, but boy, it has been really, really interesting to see. And we'll have to see how green the lawns stay for a while, too.
Yeah,
you know
that'll
what I mean?
be interesting. Yeah.
Our bonus story of the week this weekend is The Weekend. It's Smokin' Mocan Dragway. They celebrate their anniversary this weekend, 62 years, which is very incredible. Yeah, very rare. It's right on the Missouri-Kansas line. There's a picture of the old grandstands and the old tower there. Don Garlitz, he came just a couple of years ago and raced again. Now, this is what's featured this weekend. Farm Truck and Asian. There are a couple of guys who are popular on the internet, and they bring this farm truck out and they race everybody. So it's really, really cool. Yeah. You can get your picture taken with them. You can talk to them and stuff. They'll be available. And of course, also Nitro Chaos. Have you ever been to a drag race like this?
I haven't gone to Mocan yet, but I'll have to check it out. But they're fun. They're so fun.
I have never experienced it until I started working at KOAM. Being so up close to it, it's really incredible.
Get your earplugs.
Yeah. So it's Friday and Saturday. They do also race on Sunday, but the big shows are on Friday and Saturday. So enjoy that at Mocan. It's our bonus story this week.
Wonderful. Check that out. Well, again, thank you so much, Shannon, for all that you do and for being with us this morning, sharing your big 3 news stories of the week. When we come back, we'll be back with more when we come back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News, 7:42 on this finally Friday in the 4 states, and we've got a live look from our camera on top of the Cornell Complex downtown Joplin. As you can see, we got a light east breeze and otherwise clear skies out there. Same clear view from our camera at 7th and Range Line, and we head a little further south of that down to 20th and Range Line. The MoDOT camera there looking great. A lot more cars on the road, folks getting their day underway and probably absolutely enjoying this weather out there this morning. And the MoDOT camera down in Neosho at 60 and 59, also looking fantastic. Plentiful sunshine as we get started. The future track heading into today and tomorrow doesn't really have much to show initially. Just a few passing clouds today, and again, that light easterly breeze across the area and below normal temperatures. Then we'll see clouds start to increase as we go into our Saturday. Future track painting the opportunity of a stray shower or two earlier in the day Saturday, but I do believe our best chances for more organized shower and thunderstorm activity will come after 9 and start going into the overnight hours and into Sunday across the area. In Joplin right now, again, clear skies, 62. The wind is relatively calm out there, and it'll be, again, a light east breeze through the day. Take a look at some of these temperatures. Earlier this morning, we had a lot of upper 50s out there. We still have some upper 50s in the parts of southeast Kansas. Most of us, though, getting back into the low 60s. But bear in mind, our average low this time of year is supposed to be 70, so much cooler. A very chilly start for a July day, especially in the middle of July. All right, through the morning, sunny skies, mid-70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs today, maybe a degree or two cooler than yesterday as we go low to mid-80s once again with maybe a few passing clouds here and there. Same conditions through the evening, mostly clear skies, mostly clear overnight as well. We'll fall back into the low to mid-60s, so another night below average out there. Then as we go into Sunday, again, we have a low pressure. It's going to bring us scattered shower and thunderstorm chances through most of the day on Sunday, and that'll continue into our Monday as well. We'll have breaks here and there. This won't be all day rain, but we'll still have better chances for showers and storms Sunday and again into Monday. By Tuesday, the system bringing us those showers and storms will slowly begin to move out to the east, and we're going to dry out and warm up once we get past that. So our below average weather will come to at least a brief end. We're going to go low mid 80s. So again, our normal high is about 91, and that continues through Tuesday. Overnight lows below normal into the 60s. By Wednesday, we're about normal. Same on Thursday, a little above normal Friday, so getting hot out there again, 94. And then we'll see increasing thunderstorm chances as we head into next Sunday, and that'll bring our temperatures just a pinch below average by the next weekend as well. That's Check Your Forecast, and we're send it over to Elise with Consumer Watch.
Chris, thanks. Well, Amazon announces it saw record sales for this year's Prime Day event. The company's Prime Day earlier this week, with members buying more items than ever before. Amazon didn't say how much money it made, but it did disclose that millions of people subscribed to a Prime membership in order to receive the discounts on Prime Day. Adobe Analytics reported an 11% uptick in sales from the previous years, tracking that customers spent $14.2 billion this year. Uber gives more insight to users on future rides. The app now shows riders average fares as well as wait times in about 10,000 cities around the world. Users can select destination in the Plan Your Trip menu and scroll down to search different cities. The app also lets riders to reserve a ride several days prior. The new features are meant to provide more information for users who may be planning to travel to another city. Well, a once beloved beer brand falls to the number 3 spot in the U.S. Bud Light, formerly the country's most popular beer, continues to slip in rankings after a boycott over a collaboration with transgender social media influencer Dylan Mulvaney last year. Bud Light held the number 2 spot for best-selling beer between Memorial Day and July 4th, but now trails behind Michelob Ultra and Modelo, according to Nielsen IQ data. And those are our top consumer stories. Now let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell. Well, 10-year-old Georgia boy is being recognized for his bravery and quick thinking. The boy's grandfather had a diabetic episode while driving down the interstate.
Sawyer Bucky explains how Drake Lynn managed to steer the car to the side of the road and call for help.
If you were 10 years old and your diabetic grandfather went unconscious at the wheel, would you have known what to do?
Hey, my papa's a diabetic and panicking. We were on the side of the road. I pulled him over. I muffled it. I pulled him over on the side of the road. Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, I pulled him over on the side of the road. We're at the sign that says Recycle Lafayette, and it's exit 320. We're right at exit 320.
Drake Lynn did know what to do. Drake was able to grab the steering wheel and drive the two to safety. But keep in mind, they were on the highway when this happened, going about 70 miles an hour, and they were carrying a boat.
All the stuff is going through my mind, like, what's going to happen? Are we going to get in a wreck or what? But it worked out perfectly.
That was just remarkable. I mean, it was just amazing. Probably one of the most touching calls that I've took since I've been at 911.
Today, he was honored at the Gordon County Sheriff's Office for his bravery.
Your actions on Monday, the 15th of July, 2024.
Drake's family tells me they're guessing he knew how to take the wheel because of his time on the farm.
What an extraordinary young man that took a dangerous situation and made it safe for him and his grandpa.
I like it because I did something that could save a lot of people's life on the interstate, and that's something that Spider-Man or somebody would do, so yeah.
Certainly an incredible effort by that young man to see him take charge and help him out.
And I imagine, pulling a trailer, that makes that vehicle even more difficult to control, even for experienced drivers in some cases. So certainly an impressive feat.
Absolutely.
And we've got some impressive weather, below normal temperatures, a chilly start out there for many of us today. We're going to start quick with the future track and talk about what we're looking at for the rest of today, which again, just a few passing clouds and temperatures below normal with a light easterly breeze out there. Again, cool start. We are at 62 in Joplin. The wind is calm. The skies are clear. Still some upper 50s on the temperature map this morning. We're starting to see, of course, we're warming up. We're seeing a lot more low to mid 60s out there. We get our day underway. We're going to have those sunny skies and be about the mid 70s by 11 o'clock this morning. Highs once again below normal, low to mid 80s, so still warm, but not where we're supposed to be. Our average high is 91. A few passing clouds here and there, and that'll be the case as we head into the evening hours as well. And another below average night there as we fall back into low to mid 60s. Saturday night into Sunday, we've got a low pressure. It's going to start giving us scattered shower and thunderstorm chances. Those are going to continue through the day on Sunday and into Monday. Now remember, these will be scattered. There will be breaks here and there. It won't be all day rain, but this chance for showers and storms will continue into our Tuesday as well as this system eventually starts to make its way out. But as you look off to the west, see those 90-degree temperatures? Unfortunately, our below average days are numbered as we're going to start to warm back up. We'll have another look at your forecast and the news you need to know right after this.
Here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Police in Parsons, Kansas arrest a man for fatally shooting another man. The incident happened Wednesday night. Police say they arrived on scene to find Taylor Abshir lying in the street with a gunshot wound. Officers found and arrested Michael Morales, who was hiding behind a tree with a gun in hand. Later, police found Maurice Harper with a gunshot wound inside a home. Abshir is receiving care for his injuries, but Harper died from his. Official charges are still pending. Authorities in Joplin respond to a two-vehicle crash yesterday afternoon in downtown Joplin. Joplin police say a vehicle traveling south failed to yield to a vehicle heading west, resulting in the crash. Authorities say one person involved was not responsive and was later pronounced dead. The Northeast Tech Afton campus served as launchpad for a collaboration with Tango Flight. Students enrolled in the STEM program had an opportunity to earn their wings by building an aircraft meeting FAA standards. The project exposed students to an array of STEM principles as well as provided them with practical skills and insights into the aviation industry.
All right, again, today below average as we go into the low to mid 80s, so still warm, but manageably warm. A few clouds here and there and a light easterly breeze. Calm winds overnight tonight. Clear skies continue. Again, maybe a passing cloud or two will fall back in the low 60s. Then as we head Saturday, clouds increase. Thunderstorm chances increase after 9 and continue Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday with the low pressure system. That also keeps our temperatures below normal, but we start to heat back up toward the end of next week, just in time for some additional scattered shower and storm chances by next Sunday.
Sure be nice, especially because the summer has been so hot.
It's been very hot across the year, so this is a nice break.
Absolutely. Matter of fact, people who've been sweltering in the summer's oppressive heat might wish they had taken part in this competition. 300 people set a new record for the length of time ice bathing in Vienna, Austria. Each competitor had to stay in a pool filled with ice water for 2 minutes.
Now, the water temperature was 39 degrees. The competition raised almost $33,000 for the Austrian Paralympic Committee. Now, I couldn't do that. I mean, the swimming pools around here, even on a hot day,
look at their
sometimes,
faces. Yeah, there's paint on their faces.
It can be a bit on the warm side or the cold side for me on a hot day.
Yeah.
So that's a little too cold.
Yep. I'm right.
But it's a good way to cool down, I suppose.
Absolutely.
Whatever works.
You know, all for a good cause.
Absolutely. Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good in your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather today at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.